second to introduce you to my family is my son, Richard. Richard just graduated Hofstra Law School. He's going to talk to you guys a little bit about what he's doing after law school. In the back is my daughter, Rebecca. Rebecca graduated Binghamton, and she's starting Cardozo Law School in May. So their oldest sibling brother, Brandon, is a CPA, and he's working alongside me, developing new entrepreneurial ideas. And it seems like a lot of the kids took over the family trait of wanting to be their own bosses and not going to follow the conventional rules like many of you in this room today. Okay, so we have a few students who are probably a little bit late and some of the speakers, but what I'm going to do is start off with a story about the founders of Warby Parker. How many of you have ever heard of Warby Parker? By a show of hands. Okay, Warby Parker did something really interesting. If there's anything that I really like more than anything, is a good old-fashioned dorm room business where some students out of their dorm room developed the next great idea. So these two guys who went to University of Pennsylvania figured out there had to be a way to make cheaper eyeglasses. That these $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 eyeglasses for the same frame and glass has not changed for literally 700 years. That's how long eyeglasses have been around, over 700 years. So we're going to hear now how these two guys went out to start a new industry in lower priced designer type sunglasses.
My name's Dave Gilboa, co-founder and co-CEO of Warby Parker.
I'm Neil Blumenthal, co-founder and co-CEO of Warby Parker.
We started Warby Parker because we saw a huge opportunity to solve a real problem. We love glasses, and we've been wearing glasses for a long time, but couldn't understand why they were so expensive. And when we looked into it, saw this massive industry that really hadn't had any innovation. We also wanted to create an organization that did something good in the world. And so I think everything that we do really stems from those two goals: to disrupt this industry that we thought was broken, and then also prove that for-profit businesses can have a positive impact in the world.
And there was that fateful moment where you forgot a pair of glasses in an airplane.
I happened to be traveling. I left a pair of glasses on a plane, and they'd cost me $700, and I was about to be a full-time student in business school and went my whole first semester without owning a pair of glasses because I thought it was ridiculous how expensive they were. I just bought a new iPhone that cost me $200 and did all these things that people couldn't imagine 5 years earlier. Meanwhile, the technology behind a pair of glasses was invented 800 years ago, and it just didn't make sense why they were so expensive.
We really came at this as consumers and people that would go and buy glasses. You realize that there are crazy markups in this industry, and it just doesn't make sense. And at that point, you start to figure out, okay, what do I need to do here? Well, we need to design the frames. We can do that ourselves. We need to figure out where to produce them. Well, we had some manufacturing relationships we could leverage. And then we also need a place to sell it. So we thought that the internet was this great medium where we could interact directly with customers. So we wanted to figure out a way to compact that value chain and transfer a bunch of money to customers.
We kept hearing from people that, if you could sell glasses online, someone would already be doing it.
We entered the Wharton Business Plan competition, and I think we made it to the semifinals, which was exciting, but alas, we didn't win.
At first we took it very personally and emotionally, but then realized that our time was better spent actually creating the operations of the business than perfecting our PowerPoint pitch. And it also, I think, put a little chip on our shoulder and was just some extra motivation.
Yeah.
We had seen firsthand as consumers that this industry was broken and came up with a better way to do it, and just fundamentally believed that we could create our own brand. People were more and more willing to buy products online, whether it's Blue Nile, getting people comfortable buying things as expensive as engagement rings, Zappos, convincing people that they can buy shoes online even if they need to try them on. We really thought it was a unique opportunity in time where consumers were ready to actually buy glasses online. And if we could create a great brand and a great experience, they'd actually be willing to do that.
Before we go into the second pitch on this, how many of you ever bought an expensive item over the internet? Let's say over $500 by show of hands. What'd you buy?
Laptop.
Laptop?
The laptops.
Okay, so computer stuff. How about jewelry? Has anyone ever spent over $500 on jewelry online? What else have you bought online? In the hundreds of dollars.
A car on eBay.
Car on eBay. How'd that work out?
Pretty well.
Pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Seminar tickets.
Seminar tickets, okay. That's definitely how it's sold.
Purses, sunglasses.
Okay, so it just goes to show you that you can spend $700, $1,000 and sell it online and make a good chunk of money. That people are not afraid of spending hundreds or not thousands of dollars to buy products, which years ago was unheard of, spending that kind of money. You know, first of all, putting your credit card online years ago was something nobody would want to do. Okay, let's find out what these guys did.
Can I close the store?
Sure. I will expect.
My name's Dave Gilboa, co-founder and co-CEO of Warby Parker.
I'm Neil Blumenthal, co-founder and co-CEO of Warby Parker. Warby Parker just took off like a rocket ship. We hit our first year sales targets in 3 weeks, sold out of our top 15 styles in 4 weeks, had a wait list of 20,000 people. We were completely overwhelmed.
We were full-time students and we didn't have any employees, we didn't have an office, we were working out of our apartments, and we'd worked so hard to get our website up that I think naively we thought once it was up we could relax a little bit, and all of a sudden just orders started pouring in.
It was just mayhem. We basically had to stop going to class so that way we could answer customer calls, respond to customer emails. We didn't even have sold out functionality on the website. So one of the first calls, Dave calls our developers like, we got to figure this out. We made a decision early on that we were going to be transparent with our customers and actually explain to them what's going on, that we were really sorry, but we've ran out of inventory. A core tenet of ours is just to always be truthful and honest. And if you do that, hopefully, customers will like it and sort of be grateful for that.
I think we learned 2 important lessons right around launch. One is that if you treat customers well, good things will happen. We personally reached out to every one of those customers and we gave away a lot of free glasses for people if we messed up their order or kept them waiting for a certain amount of time. If you're just honest and transparent with customers and show them that you care, that goes a really long way. And the second thing was just the power of serendipity and good luck. One of our first customers called in. We had taken about 3 weeks to get him his glasses, and at the time, our customer service line just went directly to all the 4 founders' cell phones.
Whoever would answer first got the customer.
And our co-founder Jeff picked up the phone and he profusely apologized and said, we're overwhelmed by demand. We'll give you a free pair of glasses. Go to our website, pick out another pair. We'll send that for free. I'll package it myself and send it out tomorrow. And he said, well, it sounds like you're having some logistics problems. Maybe I can help. I'm the CEO of a publicly traded logistics company. And the next week they were our logistics partner, and we still work with them today where they handle all our logistics.
You see, our customer was in the logistics business and ended up becoming a client of this. I mean, it's just pretty amazing. What was the takeaway from this segment?
Honest communication with your clients.
100%. Honest communications, okay? No lying. Tell them the truth, because at the end of the day, telling the customer the truth is the way to go. All right? They're willing to hear you. They understand the growing pains. They know you're running this out of your dorm room and that you're looking to shake up the whole entire industry. So that's the big takeaway. Be honest, whatever you're going to do. Okay, and the final part of this.
My name's Dave Gilboa, co-founder and co-CEO of Warby Parker.
I'm Neil Blumenthal, co-founder and co-CEO of Warby Parker.
We started talking about this idea in the computer lab when we were at school with our other 2 co-founders, Jeff and Andy. And I think all 4 of us, we couldn't stop thinking about this idea. We each were emailing back and forth at 3, 4 in the morning. We're so excited by the potential to do something different and special.
the next day at school that was like, hey, like, this was a really interesting discussion yesterday. I think this is a really powerful idea. Later that night, we all went to a bar, and around the table, we committed to each other that, hey, we're gonna bust our butts and work really hard. We didn't know if we were gonna be successful, but at least we sort of said we were gonna do it.
The more we learned, the more excited we got. And then the next step was, okay, this is a good idea. We're spending time on it. Are we willing to put our money where our mouth is?
We actually all put in the same amount of money, and we're all equal partners. We thought it was going to be really difficult at the beginning to say, hey, you're worth X and you're worth Y. So we just figured, hey, if this thing works out, it's going to change all of our lives.
The next step was, let's set up a vesting schedule that gets us to graduation. And if for any reason one or more of us wants to do something else, they'll get credit for time served, but the people that continue building the business will be compensated proportionally for spending more time. Turns out all four of us were incredibly excited, and so none of us dropped out of the process, but we wanted to be thoughtful about setting up those mechanisms ahead of time.
We knew that it was risky sort of starting a business with friends, and there were people far smarter than us that had started businesses as friends and then quickly sort of become bitter enemies. So one of the things that we started doing was going back to the bar that we decided to launch the business out of, and on a monthly basis we would just sit around the table and talk. We'd put people in the hot seat. We would have those honest conversations. If there were any issues, they would bubble up and we would discuss it and we would resolve it before it exploded.
We really made this firm commitment to each other that our friendship and treating each other fairly and well was more important than the success of the business. And that's been something that I think was absolutely fundamental to the success of the founding of the company, and something that we've really tried to infuse through an entire organization now that we have over 300 employees. To create a culture where feedback is the norm.
And I think that really set the tone for a healthy working dynamic and ultimately for a very collaborative company culture.
We've tried to stay pretty close to Penn's campus and the students there, and every time we're there, we'll go grab a drink at the bar Roosevelt. And actually, one of our first frames and one of our most popular selling styles is called the Roosevelt, because of that bar.
Okay, just a wonderful story how four friends started a business from scratch, put in equal money. And Warby Parker is certainly something to be reckoned with. They're probably, my opinion is they're probably going to take over the eyeglass industry. There's one major company called Luxottica. Has anyone ever heard of Luxottica? Luxottica is a wholesale manufacturer in Italy that makes the frames for just about every major design of glass you can think of, including Google Glass, which really never seemed to went that far, but every major designer name that you know is made by Luxottica. So, and they interviewed the owner on 60 Minutes a few years ago. It's an interesting segment to watch on 60 Minutes if you want to see how the eyeglass industry, where it works, how it starts, and how they can have these huge, tremendous markups. Pairs of glasses, especially Ray-Bans. They focused on Ray-Bans. When I was a kid, I bought Ray-Bans in the corner drugstore for like $3. Okay? Take guess how much I paid for these Ray-Bans. Like almost $200. Okay, so it went from $3 to $200. I don't think that the components in here cost anywhere near $200. Maybe more like $2. Okay, so the markup in glasses is astounding. So think of businesses where you have big markups so that you can make some mistakes and not go out of business. All right, very good. You want to hit those lights? Okay, today we have 4 student speakers. Since the semester is really starting to move along now, we only have 2 more in classes, and then we have our buying trip, we have our selling trip, and our selling days. And so next week, we'll, after the vacation, will be the last class. So today we have 4 speakers, and let's start this one out with David. Let's hear it from David.
Hi, how are you? My name is David Krishvili. I'm a senior here. So for the entire semester, I was always interested in going into a service company, and I work in real estate. And I think it's a fantastic, tremendous opportunity to make a lot of money, which is really why I like business. That's just my discreet, honest opinion. But throughout the entire semester, while thinking of services, I also wanted to develop a product. And I know successful products are usually the ones who solve problems. So I thought to myself, Dave, what's your biggest issue right now? And my biggest issue is waking up. I mean, by show of hands, who's thankful that we woke up today? Just by show, I'm pretty happy, right? Who's thankful that we woke up today but didn't really want to wake up in the morning? How about that? Okay. So the dilemma is this. It started off from like a personal problem. I live in a very small apartment with my grandmother and mother. And every morning I try to wake up at 6:30, but obviously that doesn't happen. And my grandma keeps screaming and ends up throwing her tapushki at me, her slippers, telling me to wake up, and I just can't get up. So I'm like, okay, I gotta quit the system, so I have to figure something out. So I think, okay, what can I do or what can I create in order to wake myself up in the morning and not wake up my mom or my grandma? So, and how could this possibly help people, and how can I make it into a business? So voila, I started thinking. And then my friend Steven over here, he tells me about he's doing a bracelets business or whatever it may be through eBay. I'm like, that's brilliant, hold on. What if I make and incorporate some figment of how I can make a bracelet that would vibrate through an app on your phone and would wake people up without any sounds? And instead of alarming sounds throughout the entire apartment and just disturbing everybody, it would wake up one person, and through that, everything would be solved. So I'm like, hold on, wait, I'm not the only genius in the world. There's probably somebody who thought of this before I did. So I go on Amazon, and there's 3 or 4 products like that, but they don't have a large market share. Primarily because of the fact that it's so expensive. These bracelets that people develop with a watch or whatever it be, it connects to an app the same way. So I'm thinking to myself, how can I develop a competitive advantage amongst these people, make it cheaper, and make it something that people would like to buy? So I think to myself, okay, this is getting really, really crazy, but the only thing that woke me up in the morning was cold water. So I'm like, okay, pretend you're laying in a bed, all right? And this thing is like going off like this, you know, you're like, in the morning. And like, it's not doing much, and like, you can't do it, you're pressing this, and it keeps going do. Like, okay, what's next? So I'm thinking, what if I get some way to develop the bracelet with a sensor that responds to cold temperature, meaning water, so that you'd be forced to literally get out of your bed, up into the bathroom, splash it all over with your face, and be like, all right, man, I'm up. That's it, I'm here. I'm awake. And I thought about it, and I'm like, okay, it's a great idea. Can I actually put it into reality? And then I think people are making money literally doing the stupidest things in the world, not even solving problems, so why can't I? So the idea is, the name of the business product I thought would be Tinkle Time, because of water tinkles. And that's honestly it. That is really my business idea for a product. Other than that, I like services, and I really, really hope I can implement this into reality and just make something of it, so people don't have to be awoken in the morning and can just go to school, go to work without any hesitation. And that's my business.
Okay. Okay. How many of you like this idea? By show of hands. Okay, how many of you think you would buy something like this? Okay, so liking it, buying it is 2 different things. Clearly. Certainly up to the point where it was vibrating and maybe sending tingles, the water thing started to throw me a little bit. I was thinking maybe it would come down from the ceiling. Or your grandmother would throw water balloons at you. She's wearing one too.
Probably would, yeah.
That kind of adding up. But it's certainly a very novel idea. I certainly haven't seen that anywhere. And as far as marketing, I'm sure, anybody with late night television or any kind of late night kind of thing, promotion would probably do pretty good. Okay, great idea. Okay, next we're going to hear from Rose. Let's hear from Rose.
Hello, everyone. I don't want to sit. Yeah, so, I'm sorry, I'm just going to go back to this for notes and stuff. So, I've been extremely fearful of failure, of having a business and then failing. I think one of the things I need to keep in mind is that no matter what you do, there's a chance of failure, and there's always a chance that it may not work out, so why not just jump out there? So this weekend that just passed, that's exactly what I did. And I sat down with a friend of mine that we've been discussing opening an event space for some time, an event planning business. And we decided to go ahead and just start moving along with it because I figured why not just jump into it. We're financing it ourselves. We have the capital for it. We're using revenue from my past business, which was my dungeon, as I shared with you guys before. And it's going to be an event space. It's going to be called Entitled. It's going to be in Midtown Manhattan. But our space is going to be different because it's going to cater to adult theme parties. It doesn't always mean BDSM. It can be bachelorette parties, bachelor parties. There's a huge market for that no one really, I don't know why, goes for in New York anymore. There's also like divorce parties. I don't know if you guys heard of those. Yeah. And that's like really big in New York right now. And there's like a ton of money. No, seriously, there's like so much money in that. If you guys like were interested, I'm just saying. But there's also, of course, BDSM events. I don't know if the more serious of like the adult events would be like swinger events and whatnot, which we would cater to all of those. We would charge anywhere from $1,200 to $2,000 just to rent the space for the night. We would provide the space, and also we want to make packages where we can also help them plan the event. So that's where the event planning would come into it. We're fully booked already for the month of June, which I'm shocked about because I didn't expect that. So hopefully it continues to go like that well. And did I miss anything? Yeah, the event planning services like would be an extra $500 to $700 depending on like how much they need help with planning things, because most of the time like the market in this would be like a target audience would be really women in their 20s to late 50s, believe it or not. That just want to have more control in their sexual life, or just want to feel entitled or feel like they can take back their life, especially like divorce parties, which surprisingly is most of the bookings for June. So I'm like, how many people are getting divorced nowadays? And yeah, that's it. That's the thing.
Okay. All right, don't run down something. Stand up, we have a bunch of questions for you. Okay, Gil.
Where exactly did you like market this? Like, how did you get your customers?
Well, it's not as hard as you would think. Once you find your footing in this lifestyle, so to speak, you kind of just meet people word of mouth. People are, that's also why I picked the name Entitled instead of something like Spice It Up or like Kink, or you know what I mean? People are really high in discretion.
Right,
so finding people through word of mouth is not hard, because once they find you, they just want to stick with you because they don't want everyone to know their business. So it's really about getting out there, networking, talking to people, going to other adult events in Manhattan and kind of saying, hey, well, guess what? I have like a new event space if you want to check it out. That kind of thing. So just really talking. Pretty crazy. But
Yeah, Pure. Go ahead.
Just curious about what you've thought about regarding food, alcohol, and their toys.
Okay. Alcohol pretty much is like, what? Wait, what? Just like, what was the last one?
Toys. Food, alcohol, or toys. Because you say you're providing the space.
Right.
But are you thinking just about the space?
Okay,
or-
so this is being recorded, right? Okay, so
It's gonna be
so as far as alcohol, we have a liquor license. That's what my partner has, and that's one of the reasons why it's so essential that he's a part of it. That liquor license is everything. So we would have a bar, obviously, and that's something we're still talking about, whether we want the vendor to bring their own alcohol, so it's like bring your own kind of thing, or we want to provide it, because once we provide it, we have to card people, we have to ID the people, and since we're only providing the space, it's like, do we want to like go in on their
Okay, there's special licenses just for transporting
Right.
a liquor license, for like transient event companies who need a liquor license because their venues change every single week. There's a special license in order to get, You know,
So
something,
that would be on,
something to that effect.
right, so it's either on them or it's completely on us.
Mm-hmm.
And if we take that on, there's like obviously legalities that we have to work out.
Right.
How old are these people that are gonna be coming to the party? How many people are coming? Because there's also like a maximum amount. Yeah, so, food, we're trying to find like different people to, kind of collaborate with. As far as like catering companies that are not completely freaked out by possibly walking in and seeing anything. I know like I'm definitely interested in your cakes, and we talked about that because it's really dope idea actually. If you could just make one with the big top, like just that's all I want. It has to look just like me. But yeah. So and as far as toys. That's actually something that I want to do in the future. I want to, because I actually have like a couple of contacts with some suppliers that already make toys, and if I can kind of make my own brand as far as sex toys or whatever the case is, that's also cool. And also go back to your question because I just thought of it. Word of mouth means everything. You never want to like burn bridges. You never, no matter how much someone gets on you, there's a lot of people in whatever market, industry, whatever you're in. It's gonna piss you off, get on your nerves. You never burn bridges, like ever, because there's like people that have pissed me off where I'm like, I'm done with them, and then I still needed them now. So,
That's
yeah.
great advice, very strong advice.
Yeah.
Don't burn your bridges,
Never.
no matter your boss, no matter what happens, because somehow that's gonna come back to haunt you one day.
Yeah.
You know, right? Good job, really nice. Okay, so we'll look for 50 Shades of Barbie next Christmas. All right, next we're gonna hear from Seth. Let's hear from Seth. Need that? Sure.
How do I get it to where you know it goes to the next slide?
There you go. There you go.
Alright, how you doing class? My name's Seth Landino. My original idea I started was with some friends. We were gonna do a coffee application, let you buy coffee on your phone, and then you could put in like your credit card or debit card. But then my friend told me on Friday about this idea of waist beads. I've never heard of it before. It's used in like Caribbean culture and West African culture. A lot of women in Ghana use it. It's used for like to keep negative energy. They use it as a tradition if you're religious. It means also like they're becoming a woman or woman in power. So it's the main thing that attracted me when he told me about it was how many women have asked someone in their family like, do these jeans make me look fat?
Sure, everybody.
So these waist beads you put around you, I don't really know how to do it.
You better learn quick.
I can help you, I have some more.
But you tie them around you, and you notice as if you're gaining weight, like Thanksgiving time or whatever the case may be, that the beads start to get tighter. So it's kind of like an idea that lets you know that you're gaining weight, but it's mainly like an aphrodisiac. Like I talked to a lot of men, and they know, like they've said it attracts them. Let me show. So as you can see, there's some pictures right there of, and it's not discriminating, of course, all women in all sizes.
It's sexy.
So I thought you don't have to, it doesn't matter like the seasons. I thought maybe it was something like, because I've never seen it, like someone on the beach would be wearing them, but it's mainly for they can wear it under their clothes, and it just helps them. It gives them a look that like accentuates their hips if you're trying to get like a Coke bottle figure. A lot of men like that, I know. So, I know we're selling costume jewelry, so
Yes.
I thought this could be like an idea that could be sold on campus. So with these runabout, which I was surprised is there is a website called waistbead.com, and they can run from anywhere from $30 to $200. I guess because it's so time consuming in the materials. But I would say my friend who told me about this, he has a friend that makes them, and she charges him about $10 to $15. So I would say I would sell these for about 15 maybe, just depending on the material and how many the customer wanted. I would just market it through social media, word of mouth. I guess the selling it on campus here would be a great start to get the name out there. And
Sure. So this is a jewelry item. This is
Yeah.
not really a weight kind of thing. This is your own spin on it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's really a jewelry item, more like necklace, bracelets, but now it's something called waist beads.
yeah,
It's brand new. It's innovative. I've never seen it before.
yeah. I've never.
Certainly-
They already have a website for it, but it's I just think the price is so high. And I think, you know, like with the eyeglass idea, there's always a way, I think, to get it cheaper and push it out to the market at a better price.
Right. How many of you ever heard of waist beads before by show of hands? Okay, so a few of you, I've never heard of it. Certainly the bikini stuff and a lot of the belts and things like that are very similar to that, but sounds like a pretty good idea. Okay, any questions? Okay, we're all experts. Oops, I'm sorry. Now, do you have any of these made already, or is this something that you're
My
gonna
friend
first-
does. He has a bunch of them, and like we would just put up our own capital for them because like they're not that much.
Right. So hopefully you'll sell them on campus soon.
Yeah.
All right, great.
I got my email.
Okay, last but not least, we're going to hear from Elsia. Sure, you can do that.
Presentation to send.
So, my name is Alicia, and my idea is
Probably still a little loud.
Yeah. Okay, so my idea is Kickstart, which is a women's gym only. Here we go. Who we are. So we're a kickboxing gym for women, as I said, and we're focused on fun and physical workout within the Williamsburg area. Turn it down? Okay, that's good? Yeah. All right, cool. So, where was I? We'll be working in the Williamsburg and Bushwick area. We're also focused on motivation and empowerment of women. We focus on fun and self-determination. We ask that our women come prepared to be dedicated to working on their physique. We want to provide our clients with a fun and vibrant environment. So we'll have music in the background, we'll have dim lights, we'll have fun and vibrant colors around the room. Also, we'll have body bags with different colors, as you could see. This is black, but we're trying to have multiple colors of different body bags. We're looking for 20 body bags to fit in one room so that we could have 20 slots open for each hour. So 20 people per hour should fit. And we're looking to operate from a storefront with all glass. That's our main marketing strategy, so that people from outside can see what's going on. They'll be like, oh, okay, I want to join. So that's what that's about. Now, what are we about? So we're all about physical and emotional wellness and health, and we see the connection between the two, so we try to embrace them. We also focus on our members actually participating and not just being there because they just have to be there or something like that. There's no lifetime commitment, so people can choose whatever slots they want to and see where it goes. We also have prices that are flexible and affordable, and this is where drastic times call for drastic measures. So people in this gyms in this community are closing down, especially women gyms like Lucille Roberts. No one really attends those gyms anymore, mainly Planet Fitness. So what we want to do is open a kickboxing gym so they can look and say, oh, this is more fun, it's not about machines. You're actually interacting with an instructor who tells you the next step and then you follow through. Yeah, so by signing up, you pay $10. $5, you know, to $5. That's nothing. $10 is nothing. You choose when you come. You fill out your slots online, and you just come in. You pay from online, so we secure your spot. Yeah. And that's the end of the presentation.
How many of you in this room has actually gone to a kickboxing class? By show of hands. Okay, how long have you been doing kickboxing?
I actually just started because I like the idea, and I think it's more fun than actually going to a gym, running on a treadmill.
Yeah.
That's why you don't have any motivation.
I would think so as well. How many of you are members of gyms? Wow, much more than I would actually think. That's great. The idea of a women's gym seems to be a really good one. It seems like Lucille Roberts has had it all to herself for 50 or 60 years, and I can understand why it would be very uncomfortable women working out in a gym with guys for obvious logical reasons, you know. So having an all-women's gym makes a lot of sense for a serious workout. Maybe 2 memberships, one to meet good-looking guys and another one just to go out there and work hard in your kickstarting class. How many of you like this idea? A show of hands. Okay, so you have great validation. Any questions?
Yeah, my question is, are you owning or renting the space?
I think I would start by renting and then see where it goes, just to test it out instead of fully committing to that space and then it doesn't work out.
And then the second part is, if you do decide to own, I don't think $5 or $10 would work because that's a huge capital investment. So thank you.
No, $10 each, but yeah, I don't think.
It's still 10.
You don't
I don't know. Just off the top, it seems like.
What does the competition charge for these kickboxing classes?
They do free trials first off, and then the memberships run between 50 to 60 depending on the area.
Right.
So yeah, the
I haven't gone to kickboxing. Is it a class in front of a lot of people with an instructor? Was it one-on-one?
Yeah, so it's one instructor and then you have like 5 to 10 people in the room, and then each person has a body bag and they do their stuff.
I see, so they're kicking the body bag.
Yeah, they're doing all the exercises.
I really like this idea, but also to jump off of what Pierre was saying, you definitely can charge more, especially with like the nature of like Williamsburg and Bushwick right now. And then also I was like, just a recommendation, I feel like this is very Soul Cycle-esque, but the kickboxing version, I think that would be cool maybe to have like neon punching bags, neon gloves, like to kind of like, because you want to make it seem like very like clubby or whatever. And I would definitely charge at least like $35.
$35, alright.
Yeah, like people are gonna go.
Sure, great. Last question.
I've thought about incorporating like different kind of classes, like.
Yeah, I was thinking self-defense, but I don't want to go too far, like yoga or Pilates, not yet. I want to just see where the kickboxing goes, and then I'll do like different
Not necessarily
segments.
like kickboxing, but I know like one thing like that's huge in like certain gyms, because I excuse my language, you know, I really don't like the gym. It's like my arch nemesis. But like one thing I do like to do is dance.
Okay.
Like the Zumba. What's
Yeah.
it called?
Very popular.
So incorporate other stuff other than kickboxing.
Because you know, if they come every day just for kickboxing, that may be like a
you know, down moment every now and
just
then.
something to think about.
Okay.
Very good, okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave that. Thank you.
I don't know why I'm telling you that.
Yeah, that I don't know either. Very good. So one of the, so somebody just brought up Soul Cycle not long ago. Soul Cycle is one of the most successful operations in the exercise business in the world today. Now what they did that was so dramatic to change forever the course of exercise and the course of biking and gym memberships is that they went ahead and they started something called Live Soul Cycle. And what they do is they sell you the bike, and then in the bike is a built-in iPad. So you can then choose whatever class you want and actually be in the action by watching a live class going on the live cycle, along with the speakers pounding out the music, And of course, the infamous trainer who's pumping you up to get your butt in the air to do that soul cycle the right way. How many of you like that idea? Okay, because it's one of the ideas that I've actually thought of, and I haven't implemented yet, but it's certainly on my short list of businesses that I've been thinking about, and that is individualized, personalized training via an iPad. How this would work is there would be trainers in a central location, and this would be for people who either have their own home gym or do not have a home gym but have an area where they can do push-ups and sit-ups and crunches. The motivation being the trainer on the other end would be giving you that type of motivation. You can't just shut them down. I guess you could shut them down, but you paid your $100 or whatever it is going to be for that. But by having that trainer on the other end and having that commitment that you have to do your workout, you're paying for it, he's watching you or she's watching you to make you do the exercise, sounds to me like it has some merit. How many of you like that idea? Okay, about half the class. Why do you like the idea?
I like it that it gives the incentive for people to actually want to work out more, because there's somebody on the other end that's just motivating and also has the techniques that maybe they don't know themselves. They could give them the workouts and show them how to do it specifically, and it's not just some guy on the other side on a video. You can't speak. You could speak to this person now and say, "Hey, am I doing it right? You're not doing this."
This would be a FaceTime one-on-one with the trainer.
You could actually speak to the person.
Even though he's not spotting you to do the weights, he's motivating you to do that. Okay?
I guess my only thing with that is form. Form is very important in the gym, and
Right.
how are they FaceTiming this trainer? Like, is it through a laptop? Is it through a phone?
It's probably going to be either through a iPhone or through a iPad, something to that effect.
And are they how are they gonna set it up?
They're going to just set it up, and they're going to be able to see them and talk one-on-one. So the trainer will be able to see exactly what they're doing. If they're not doing it the proper way, or they need to do a little more weight, but you're not going to cheat the guy or girl. They're going to be right there in your face.
I have one plus and one minus.
Sure.
One minus is I feel like, I've never used a personal trainer, but I feel like a big part of having a personal trainer is him being right next to you and sometimes doing that pretend spot thing he does where he's not actually lifting it at all. Being
Sure.
Like, yeah, you got this. All that really helps
Absolutely.
psychologically, and you won't be able to have that close contact. One plus, on the other hand, is I feel like personal trainers are a lot more popular in big cities like New York, and this app would be great for reaching people in the middle of nowhere who still want to work out and have health, but don't have a personal trainer nearby.
Sure. I think it works, for both Zumba classes. I think it works for all types of aerobic type classes as well, so that you're in there, you're watching the live class, she's watching you, the music is going, and it's just that extra motivation to make it work.
I guess with him, I see the advantages, but I also think that because you don't have that direct contact, maybe there's potential for it to just be a video class,
Right.
and they can pay for the video class as opposed to having this FaceTime, that you can speak to them. Because I feel
Sure, I think so. I think you would tape the classes, and you could do that as well.
I think one reason that it really would work is a lot of people in general are pretty body conscious. They're not. They don't want a trainer to make them feel like, oh, I'm too fat to work out, or I don't. There's a lot of people that don't go to the gym simply because they don't want to be judged by other people that are at the gym.
Right.
So interacting through FaceTiming or something like that, it's the person's not actually there to judge you, and if you thought that was gonna happen, but they're still there to coach you through it. So that's something that might work.
How many of you use FaceTime right now on a regular basis? Just let me see your hands high. Who use it on a regular basis, not once a year, but on a regular basis? 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 6 out of 25 kids, okay? That's only 20%. Will that ever get higher? I'm not really sure, okay? Because I could tell you a story. In the 1980s, AT&T was giving out free video phones, okay? Just to change to the AT&T service. and they sold very few video phones, even to give them away for free. There still is a little bit of an issue or problem with that two-way face-to-face. Is my hair great? Is my makeup good? Who is that on the other end? Okay, I love the concept. I have 100 ideas for live FaceTime ideas that any one of you can get involved in or could do yourself. I mean, certainly it works great, at least in my mind, for therapy. Okay, for people who are afraid to go into a psychiatrist or psychologist office, or walking out or being seen by their neighbors, by going right into a FaceTime and having a one-on-one conversation. How many of you would do a one-on-one conversation with a therapist?
Therapist?
Yes.
There's actually ads right now for, I saw ads on Subway for like a therapist you text. Like any
Sure, they have a texting service. They don't have a live one-on-one. I think it works great for doctors. I think it works good, you know, for therapy. Specialists. Well, again, it's just for a consultation, okay? So for example, if I wanted to start something called CosDent, okay? And the whole purpose of this is in your FaceTime, you're having the conversation with either the dentist or his assistant, and they're looking at my teeth. It works beautifully because you can see your teeth right in your face. Oh, we can fix this up for you. Say, okay? The video camera works great for certain industries, for certain things. Other things, not so much. But something like dentistry, to come on in, yeah, I think we could do this, and quote a price right on the telephone, could work good. Therapy, I think, could work pretty good. Yeah.
Like homework help.
Homework, tutoring, fabulous idea. We talked about my student from last semester who has a tutoring operation, and he's going to add a live thing. But yes, tutoring, fabulous.
Going back to the previous idea that you were talking about, you could do maybe like the taped class and maybe like a small office hours segment, so kind of mix both. Where in the office hours, that's where you get to interact with someone live and they can give you some feedback.
Sure.
You know,
I think it makes a lot of sense. And then, you know, for a doctor, you know, your daughter has a cold and you don't want to start running to the doctor. You know, you want to call in a prescription for antibiotics. That's what you really want. And have a 2-minute, 5-minute conversation on the phone. And again, it works well. Let me see. Your runny nose. I mean, you could certainly miss some diagnosis, and you do need to have in-office visits. Right. But there are certain things that I think FaceTime and other video cameras work really very well for. Any other questions about that?
I was just thinking what the gentleman said. I know my aunt, for people who want to learn how to speak English well, having someone to go back and forth with in terms of pronunciation and things like that, I think it would be really, really helpful.
Speech therapy, another one. There's such a major shortage of speech therapists in America. You go to these rural communities, get a contract with the local school district to provide speech therapy. Again, works beautiful. Say, oh. Okay, no, with the O on your mouth. Okay, so for speech therapy, works beautiful. Okay, so think of ideas like that, because the billing is all getting done. A lot of these one-on-one video type services are going to now branch out, and you're going to be the pioneers. You're going to be the pioneers of all of this stuff. You know, it hasn't happened in the past. The technology was not there, but now the technology is there. I think the desire is there to do that. So it's just a matter of time and coming up with the ideas and then executing and making things happen. Okay, we're going to take a few minutes now. I want to introduce you to my son Richard, who's going to say a few words about his new business and what he plans on doing after law school. So, Rich.
So how are you, everyone? Hope everyone's well. So a little bit about my background. I graduated the University of Pennsylvania in 2010, and then just recently graduated Hofstra Law School. And presently I'm starting my own copyright law practice. I've been a photographer all my life, since I'm 12 years old, traveling with photojournalists around the country. And presently I've been helping photographers with their infringements all around the internet. How many of you guys have websites and they've seen images on their websites, and how often do they, just rip it off, and people just, they go to Google Images and they just take it off and they don't credit the photographer, or they don't actually contact the photographer, and that's against copyright law. You actually have to get permission from the photographer to use it for commercial use.
How many of you ever used a photograph that you took off the internet? Everybody. Okay,
So I may be
Okay, so you know that it's a big problem.
Yeah, so it's a major problem. Everyone does it. There's zillions and zillions of websites out there, and everyone just right-clicks and uses it for their banner or for their ad to sell products. And a lot of times they sell thousands and thousands of dollars worth of products from that image. They buy it on spec. So what it is I negotiate settlements on behalf of the photographer for the use of their images. So let's say they sold $10,000 worth of goods from that image. Percentage of that goes to the photographer. So it's definitely a very, very interesting area of the law, which is really fascinating. It's not really going anywhere. I have a lot of celebrity and paparazzi clients, a lot of photo agencies like in LA, Beverly Hills, and in New York. You get Beyonce and Jay-Z. A lot of times, like commercial blogs are using the images, to drive traffic to their website, and they feel that that no one's going to get caught or find it. So I have a system that was built to find all these infringements and kind of going after them, sending out letters, and eventually filing lawsuits with the in federal court with the U.S. copyright laws. So it's really fascinating getting into video now. A lot of times, a lot of media companies like the Times and New York Post, a lot of times they have photographers that go out and shoot videos, and on their websites, people just right-click and they copy and paste and use it on their websites. So it's a really growing business, and I look forward to really continuing.
All right, great. Thanks a lot, Dr. Rich. So last week we talked about, the famous case with Robin Thicke and Pharrell ripping off Marvin Gaye's tune for their Blurred Lines. We heard that there was a $7 million settlement in that case. And now they're starting to get wise, and they're seeing that people are stealing both lyrics and melodies and tunes and beats. And so it all falls within this intellectual property arena, which Richard is getting into. Videos, songs, pictures, software. I mean, it's a real growing area of the law, and I'm really proud of him that he was able to take something that he really loves to do, photography, and he's a member of the New York Press Corps. When they have 5,000 members in the New York area, and they all know Richard since he's about 12 years old, running around with a lot of these journalists, and now they're all very anxious to have him collect on all the infringes. And a lot of these photographers come to Richard, they know very well who stole their picture. They themselves are looking out there and saying, hey, look who stole the picture. And some of the brand name companies, Fortune 500 companies, that are taking these pictures, when Richard gives them a call and says, hey, I represent photographer X, and here's the proof that you stole all the pictures, it's not good enough for them to take it down. We already have the screenshots, okay? So you're not gonna just take it down and hope it goes away. And the last thing these big companies want to do is start paying more lawyers. They'd rather just settle with the photographer for $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000 before they start to call that big name law firm for $20,000 retainer, and that's just the start of it. Okay, so be creative, do things that you think are really going to be interesting in the future. And again, just a little bit of a twist of an established idea could put you in the forefront of really some great things. All right, so with that, I'm going to wish you all a great spring break. No homework, giving you a chance to catch up on all these other homeworks that are out there. And on April 15th, we're going to hear from a good friend of mine, Eddie Bergman, who owns 2 big restaurants in Manhattan, who's going to teach you how to start your own restaurant and how he did it. and how successful he is today. All right, have a good week off. Take care.